My name is Erica Marie Morris, and you are listening to the Candle Business Podcast, where we talk all things about starting, running, and growing a successful candle business. From marketing to mental health, I cover a wide range of real-life topics that involve the crazy and wonderful ups and downs that is being a small business owner. And today's episode, we are going to dive more into the, mental health aspect, but more of like the personal side, because we're going to be bringing up a lot of topics regarding work-life balance. Now, for this episode, I decided to just sit down, hit record, and whatever I decide to talk about is what I'm going to talk about. That's how I used to do my really old, non-formal podcast episodes back in the day, and it seemed to work out really good. I do tend to sometimes ramble, but sometimes that's just how my brain goes. But I was able to get my son down for a nap, and I have a moment because Chris is currently at California Candle Supply picking up a very large order that we placed. So I have some time to myself in the candle making room, which I always enjoy because I don't get a lot of time in here anymore. And so I just wanted to bring up this topic about work-life balance. And if you are looking to start a candle business, if you're currently running a candle business and wondering if it's something that you will be able to balance with your regular life, that is the topic of discussion. And then before I get too much into it, because again, there's always new listeners, and maybe you've listened a couple times, but you haven't yet downloaded my candle business launch checklist. It is a free download. It's just to help guide you to know what you should be looking for and looking to accomplish before you actually launch your candle business. And you can go to ericamariemorris.com/checklist and download that. And it will also get you on my email list as well. And I love reaching out to you guys and interacting, and you can respond to the emails. And if I can respond to them, I will. So I just love that. But let's get into the topic of today's episode. So I think the main thing that we want as business owners or aspiring business owners is we have a image in our head of what life is going to look like when we reach our goals of what we want to do. What is something that we actually want to do that we're going to enjoy doing? A lot of us end up being stuck in a job or a position at work or whatever it is that you are doing that you don't like and you don't enjoy. And we want to enjoy life. You know, obviously there's bills to be paid, so we got to do what we got to do. And for the longest time, I was working a regular day job and then also trying to figure out business things on the side. For years, I did that. And then the pandemic hit and things went crazy, and I was able to quit my job, and then YouTube was earning me enough money to supplement what I was making so that I could stay home and work on the candle business. And now the candle business is actually doing better than my YouTube ad revenue, which is what I've always wanted. But I knew that YouTube was just supplementing at the time of what I needed in order to really focus on the candle business, which has been my ultimate goal for the past 4 years that we've been in business. But I know that a lot of us look for these things that are going to either make us happy or make our lives more enriched and more fulfilled. And the hard part is that if you are looking to start something like a candle business, soap making business, room spray business, whatever it is that you're looking to get into, it is an inventory-based business and it's a handmade business if you're the one who is currently hand making. It's completely different if you are finding a manufacturer and they are making the products and you are just working on the actual sales and branding part of it. That is going to free up a lot of your time because you don't have the additional hand making process. But there are many people who are making a full-time income and living off of their candle businesses when they are the ones making the product. And a lot of them do hire help as well. So that is something to note, that later on you may have to hire help, or in my case, get your husband to make all the product, which God bless him, is just amazing. But we ended up coming together as a team on this. I started the business, and then he ended up coming into the business to start helping late in October 2022. And then ever since then has really just taken over the production side. But I had done all the production, all the marketing, photography, every single aspect of the business for years prior to that, ever since I had launched. And it is possible to do. It is very challenging, but there is something to note about when you are wanting what you are wanting with your business and what are your goals. Obviously, you don't want to get into a position where you have absolutely no free time at all. Because, of course, ideally, we want to be able to have that balance of being a business owner and then being, a parent or a spouse, whatever it is, husband, wife, father, mother, whatever it is. You want to have that, be able to fulfill all of your roles in life and feel fulfilled in those, because I knew for the longest time before I ever had my son, before that was even something that we were really talking about, I knew in my heart that that was something that I wanted later on in life. So when I was, 22, 23 years old, I was already thinking about that and thinking, what can I do in order to be able to stay home with my children when that time comes. So I was already thinking ahead with that. Now, I didn't really think about what kind of business I was going to do. I just started dabbling in a bunch of different businesses. And then if you've heard my story, I just randomly, I don't know, found a video, article, whatever it is, on making candles. And I thought it'd make a cool gift. So that's what I did, and just kind of fell in love with the process. And because I was already kind of in that business mindset, I ended up turning it into a business. But looking back now, and this is just being completely honest, I don't think that at this time in my life, with what I'm doing of being a mom and having to do everything with the candle business, that I would be able to do it at the level of where we're at right now, specifically with wholesale. There are a lot of orders that come in and a lot of things that need to be done. And I think that the reason why I feel that way is because I also do YouTube. I also have my digital products. So I have ericamarieMorris.com, where I have the ultimate guide to start a candle business, my shipping course. I have digital products that I have because, again, that's another part of me where I am wanting to be fulfilled in that aspect. So I love teaching. I wanted to be a teacher when I was younger. And I actually went to school for it for a little bit when I was in my early 20s. And that is a huge part of that fulfillment for me. So yes, YouTube is obviously income coming in, but there is this unexplainable fulfillment that I get when I make a video and I get comments from you guys that say, oh my God, I understand this now, or thank you so much, I've been looking for this, or I didn't understand this before. So it's that fulfillment that I know that I'm helping, and it definitely fulfills that part of me. And then the candle business fulfills that creativity, and then being a mom just fulfills these things that I didn't even know that I was needing. I don't even know how to describe all the things that motherhood fulfills for me, but it's all these little things that I have tried to piece together in my life. And the hardest part is having all these things that bring me joy and fulfill me in life that I want to spend my time on, but not being able to give 100% focus to everything all at once. So I had made a podcast episode before in the past talking about, what was it? I think it was talking about how you can outsource or when to outsource, because again, if you are the sole person who is making the candles and doing every single part of your candle business, it is going to take up a lot of time, specifically if you're also working a full-time job or if you're a full-time parent or whatever it is a lot. And you may find yourself feeling like, man, I don't have any time for anything else. So if you don't absolutely love your business, love candle making, love the business side of things, then you may not feel fulfilled because it may be taking you away from other things that you would prefer to be doing. So for instance, I have always thought of myself as being like a multi-passionate individual. So I have a lot of things that I love doing. And I have just tried to be able to fulfill other things in my life even when I have all this going on. So for instance, the candle business takes up a lot of time. Luckily, with Chris coming in on the business with me, that has obviously relieved a lot of the physical demand for the business, and I'm able to do a lot more of the back end work. But in terms of the teaching side of things, and fulfilling, that part of my life, that is also something that takes up quite a bit of time. And then of course I have my son. So when he's awake during the day, it's playing with him and taking care of him. And I love that. And alongside of that, I'm also able to fulfill another passion of cooking. So when I swear to you guys that when I am not making YouTube videos or doing anything with the business, I am in the kitchen. Yesterday, I think I was in the kitchen for like 6 or 7 hours. I love making things from scratch. I actually recently just got a grain mill, and I am grinding my own wheat berries for flour because I have autoimmune issues, and I've been doing a lot of research that is the best thing in order to still have wheat and all that, but it gives so much more nutrients, and it doesn't cause, the inflammation that all the processed white bread does in the grocery stores and stuff. So these are just little things that I find so much joy, and I love making things for other people. And I think that also kind of ties into the candle making side too, is that with making something and having that fulfillment of somebody else enjoying it, I've always enjoyed that ever since I was little. So I think it's just a matter of what you view as work-life balance. You can try to think of it as, okay, I give 50% to this and 50% to that, and then it's just 100%. But it doesn't have to be that way. Whatever you are working on in the moment and giving your attention to can be 100% at that time. Now, I know there's a lot of things online that talk about, you can't work and also be a mom, like be really good business owner and a really good mom at the same time. And I think I don't know, I have very, very mixed opinions about that, because I understand what it's talking about when I read articles like that. But I think that in the moment, like when my son is awake and I'm here for him, I'm really giving him my attention. Obviously, there's certain times that I will step away and be like, gosh, I gotta respond to this email right now. And of course, I have help. My mom comes over a couple days a week. Chris is there because he's home. But a lot of times he's in the candle making room getting work done. So when I'm with him, I give him 100% of my attention. When I am working, I'm giving it 100% of my attention. So for instance, right now, I'm technically working because I'm making content for YouTube. And I know that, if my son wakes up, then I will pause this and go take care of him, because of course he's the priority. But in this moment, I'm 100% focused on work. So it is challenging. I'm not saying that it's not challenging to have a good work-life balance, to be a good business owner and be a good mom or parent at the same time. And it is very, very challenging. So I'm never going to deny that. And I think it's hilarious that all these years where I felt like I was all over the place and, I had so much on my shoulders and I was spreading myself so thin with all these different things that I was wanting to do, because again, the multi-passionate aspect and just wanting to do all the things all the time. And then I have a baby and I'm like, okay, so not only do I want to do all the things, I also have something in my life that is taking up 90% of my time. So then I have to spread out the rest of the time amongst everything that I want to do. So it's been challenging in the sense of, having way less time than I did, but it's also brought me back to what life is all about, and that balance of, okay, yes, you can work, but for instance, I used to stare at a computer screen for 5+ hours a day, sometimes in a row, to the point where I would get ocular migraines. I've mentioned that in a couple of my videos and on my Instagram, where I shared with you that I would get ocular migraines. I've only gotten one ocular migraine since he has been born, and it's because I don't spend hours and hours and hours staring at a screen. And it's kind of a blessing because I know that's not good for me to just really hyper focus on a screen for, 4, 5, 6+ hours. It really, obviously, I was feeling the effects of it, of getting the ocular migraines. And if you're not familiar with what that is, it's basically, luckily the migraine part it's not that painful, but it's definitely bothersome. Your whole head, starts to hurt all around, and then your vision, you start seeing blurred vision, these like squiggly lines everywhere. It's weird and hard to describe. If I look in the mirror, like half my face is gone. It's the most bizarre thing ever. It was very freaky the first time it happened, but I've seen my eye doctor and he says everything looks great. So I don't know. It's just a weird trigger that can happen sometimes. But I have only gotten that one time, and it was when my son was really little, like maybe a month or two old, because I was able to, have a lot more time because he was sleeping most of the time, to be staring at my phone and stuff like that. So that is a positive thing that came about. So I'm definitely not staring at screens nearly as much as I used to before I became a mom. And I'm a lot more, listening to audiobooks, listening to music, listening to YouTube videos out loud, and then playing with him or cooking. And it's really given me permission to slow down. I feel like this talk has turned more into how being a mom has helped bring upon that balance, I want to say. And I know this is a struggle for a lot of you. And I had mentioned in my previous video where I talked about struggling being a business owner and the struggles of being a business owner when I have ADHD or suspected ADHD. I've never been diagnosed, but a lot of you resonated with that video of what I had talked about. And I know that being a parent has made a lot of people's ADHD worse, and I completely understand that. But I try to look at the positives of the fact that when I am super hyper focused on something and I get taken away from it, the ability to bounce back and not let that ruin my day is a huge struggle, but it's also something that I'm overcoming all the time. And before, it used to just make me really angry. And I hated when I would be interrupted when I was really into something, especially if I was interrupted to do something I didn't want to do. I still feel that way. But I feel like becoming a mom and going through the struggles of what I've gone through, and then also being able to cook, make meals from scratch, answer emails, make YouTube content, keep up with all these little things that I have going on, and then also with the candle business as well. It's definitely a balance that I didn't know that I was able to do. And trust me, there are days where I just completely fall apart and feel like I can't do anything right. I don't know what I'm doing. And, there's good days and bad days. But that happened even before becoming a mom. It doesn't matter what you have going on in your life. It doesn't matter if you're a parent, not a parent, have a full-time job, don't have a full-time job, whatever it is that you're adding to your plate of also running a business on top of everything else that you're doing. It's going to be a struggle to figure it out in the beginning on how you're going to manage this, how you're going to balance it, especially if you feel like if you're not going to hustle, like hustle culture, if you feel like you are not hustling, then you're losing out or missing out, or you're not working hard enough. And there's the whole thing about, I quit my 9-to-5 job to work 24/7 for myself. And that can be challenging. It's something that I really focused on in the beginning, was like hustling as much as I can, working as much as I can. There were days where literally, again, I would be in front of the computer for probably 12 hours a day, just getting work done, working on my website, trying to accomplish something. And it would just completely take over my life. It was just all that I did. And if I wasn't doing that, then I wasn't feeling like I was fulfilled in anything. There was a time in my life where I wasn't in school. I was trying to figure out a business idea or eBay. I was doing eBay at the time, or I think there was a small period of time where I may have even taken a little break or I wasn't as passionate about it. And I just remember laying in bed one day and just feeling so defeated. Like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not in school. I don't have any goals. I have nothing I'm striving for. And that's the thing that I need as a person. I need that as an individual that I'm striving for. And I think that even if I didn't have my business, being a mom would fulfill that for me, and cooking and learning new things, learning new recipes, sourdough bread and baking and, grinding my own flour now, and just all these new skills that I want to learn. And I think that that is something that would fulfill me. But the business side, the teaching side, all these things are just additional that are, adding value to my life, that I'm just learning how to balance everything all together. And I don't really have any here are 3 ways to, have a good work-life balance. I don't have that. I'm just taking it day by day. I'm using my planner that I created. So it is a planner that I created on Notion. And I just utilize this for keeping track of my day. I designed it for my ADHD brain, and it really helps. I have it as a template for sale if you're interested, if that would help you out. But it just helps me be able to see everything, but not get overwhelmed, because you can kind of close certain tabs on it, so I don't have to look at certain things, and that will help me, because if I look at too many things at once, I will get distracted about 5 times in 5 minutes. So yeah, I don't have any practical advice for you. This is more of just this is just real life. This is just real life of, it's hard. I wouldn't be able to do nearly as much as we are doing if it wasn't for Chris. So just know that, I'm not here trying to pretend like I'm a full-time mom, stay-at-home mom, and I'm also a full-time business owner, and I'm doing everything all myself. I get help. My mom comes over a couple times a week. Chris, is taking over everything with production. He's at the candle supply store. I wouldn't be able to go do that. And it's just, I have to understand that I can't do everything. There's a very squeaky vehicle outside right now. Sorry if you hear that. I can't do everything, and I can only balance what I am able to do. And I can't feel like I am just going to be able to do everything, because that's not realistic. And it's taken me a while to realize that. I've recently outsourced photography. I think I've mentioned this in a previous episode, but I recently outsourced photography, and just different things that I do not have the time to do anymore. And it's more worth it for me to pay somebody else to do it. And that helps me balance things. It really does. I mean, knowing what you can outsource, knowing what you can do, what are the things that you are good at and quick at doing versus the things that would take you longer or that you have to learn new skills to do. These are the things that you can try to figure out that will help you balance and make you feel like you're not working 24/7, because I don't want you working 24/7. That's not, unless you love that, unless you absolutely love nothing but working and it's like the biggest joy, which, to be completely honest, I felt that many times in my life where I'm like, but I love working. I don't want to go a day without working, because I love doing what I do. And to be honest, I can't remember the last time I didn't work a little bit, whether that was making an Instagram story, answering an email, shipping out a product, whatever it is. Actually, Chris does all the shipping. Who am I kidding? But you know what I mean? I'm just giving you examples of, I can't remember the last time I went a day without doing some kind of work, YouTube, my digital product business for candle business owners, candle business, my Etsy shop, whatever it is. These are all things that I love, and I've created it because I love doing it. And it's just such a huge part of me, and I'm so passionate about it. And I think that that's the thing, is that if you create your work, if your work is something that you love so much, now I know there's the cheesy saying of like, do something you love and you'll never work a day in your life, but it's still work. But if you love what you do, it's going to be way more enjoyable than if you are just like, oh my God, I really just feel like I'm stuck in this now and I don't want to be doing this. You really have to enjoy what you're doing because you are building this into your life. You want all of your life to be something that you enjoy. And even if you do have to work a regular job on top of doing your candle business on the side, and let's say you're also a parent, I really admire you if you are balancing all of that, because that is very, very challenging. But you have to think about everything realistically and think about what are your goals in life and how are you going to accomplish that? And you will be able to figure it out if it's something that you are really passionate about and you have a good plan in order to get there. But the whole work-life balance thing, again, I don't have any practical skills. This is just my thoughts of being a new mom, business owner, partnered with my husband now, and everything's changed and different from the beginning in 2020. I mean, it's completely different. And I definitely wish I would have known what I know now back then. And I think I probably would have been a little bit further along now, but I wouldn't have known because you know the most from experience. You can learn a lot from other people. So those of you that have watched my YouTube channel, listened to my podcast, gotten whatever kind of digital product I have, there's a lot of information that I can help you with. But the most that you are going to learn is through your personal experience. And you're going to take away and grow the most from that than anything that anybody could ever tell you about. But I think I'm going to end this episode right here. I see him kind of moving around. Yeah, he's moving around a little bit. So I'm going to see if let's see, how long has he been sleeping? Yeah, he's probably going to be waking up soon. So I'm going to end today's episode right here. I actually really enjoyed letting my mind wander on the topic. The past few episodes, I've been actually doing more of more structure. I'll write down, I'll spend some time kind of scripting some things, and it's stumped me. It makes me kind of not flow as easily with my words. So with this, even though I kind of go off topic a little bit, I like that because it just allows me to say really what's on my mind instead of trying to think of what's going to be the best or sounding the best script wise. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. A little bit more of a personal, real life side of things. I like to dive into this because it's a huge part of running a business. Running a business is not just about, the sales and the analytics and all that. It's part of your life. It is a huge part of your life and it has to fit in with your life. So that is a really important topic to talk about. So with that, I am going to end today's episode right here and I will see you in the next one.